There's this place in India well, it's not quite India, at least not when we're talking about money. For the longest time, a whole lot of Indian-focused trading and investing was happening offshore, right? Think Singapore, Dubai. So to bring all that capital back home, India did something really clever. They built a special economic zone with a completely different rulebook. And today, we're going to dive deep into the super ambitious project called GIFT City.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. An offshore hub that's inside India? It sounds like a total contradiction, doesn't it? But here's the thing. It's not an accident. It's actually the entire point. This is a massive government initiative designed to completely change the game for how foreign investment flows into the country and to go head-to-head with those big global financial centers.
So, let's call it India's financial paradox. But really, it's not a paradox at all. It's a super deliberate economic design. India's created this special zone, GIFT City, with one very specific goal in mind: attracting global investment.
Okay, the best way to think about it is like a duty-free shop, but for finance. Geographically, it's right there in Gujarat, but financially, it's treated like a completely separate global jurisdiction. So for an investor, stepping into GIFT City with their capital is like stepping into a whole different regulatory universe without ever having to leave the country.
All right, so we've got the big picture, but let's get into the nitty-gritty. What exactly is GIFT City? So the official name for this kind of place is an International Financial Services Center, or IFSC for short. And what that really means is that it's India's answer to those big financial hubs like Dubai or Singapore. The key difference? It's built right on Indian soil, but it's designed to play by global rules, not domestic ones, all to pull in that foreign capital. And here's the absolute core concept, the thing you really need to get. For all tax and regulatory purposes, any fund set up in GIFT City is treated as an offshore entity. And that's not just some fancy label, it has massive implications. It means these funds are playing by global market rules, not India's domestic ones. And for investors, that changes everything.
Okay, so that brings up a really important question. Who exactly gets to play in this exclusive financial sandbox?
Well, it's a pretty specific list. We're talking about non-resident Indians, NRIs, foreign individuals, and big foreign institutional investors. But here's the kicker. Resident Indians are not eligible to invest through here. And that tells you everything you need to know. This isn't about giving domestic investors a new option. It's all about creating a super smooth gateway for foreign capital to flow into India. All right, now let's get to the main event, the reason this whole thing exists, the zero tax advantage. This is where it gets really interesting for those investors. The tax benefits here are, well, they're huge. We're talking zero capital gains tax for the fund and for the investor. No securities transaction tax, no GST, no stamp duty. It's a clean sweep. All those major tax hurdles you'd normally face investing in India from abroad, they're just gone. And really, this quote from our source material just hits the nail on the head. It's one of the most tax-efficient routes to invest in India. I mean, it's not by accident. The entire platform was engineered from the ground up to be exactly that for a global investor looking at the Indian market. But wait, it's not just about the tax savings. The whole process is streamlined to get rid of administrative headaches. You don't need a special FPI license. You don't even need a bank account in GIFT City. There are no Indian income tax returns to file. Heck, you don't need a PAN card or an Indian address. And everything is done in US dollars. It's designed to just strip away all those layers of bureaucracy.
So, okay, it's super efficient, it's incredibly tax-friendly, but what's the catch? What's the price of entry to get access to all this? Well, for most of the big institutional funds here, the barrier to entry is pretty steep. You're typically looking at a minimum investment of $150,000 US. So yeah, that's clearly aimed at the big fish, the larger, more established investors. But, and this is a really big but, there's been a major exception to that rule. Some asset managers have started rolling out a retail-focused structure, and they've dropped the minimum investment, get this, all the way down to just $500. Now that is a potential game changer. Suddenly, this new retail option makes the whole platform accessible to a much, much wider range of individual overseas investors. It means that NRIs and other foreign individuals can now get into funds from major players like HDFC, Access, and Nippon, using this incredibly efficient system. It's basically opening a door that until now was pretty much only open to the big guys.
So, when you boil it all down, GIF City is kind of like a financial embassy right on Indian soil. It's this carefully built bridge that gives global investors a totally frictionless way to get into Indian markets, with all the perks: massive tax breaks, way less red tape, and now, with these new retail options popping up, it's becoming more accessible than ever.